This video is brought to you by the Paladin Learn History app. This is Edo. You know it as Tokyo. But in the year 1750, this wasn't just a city, it was the largest urban experiment in human history. While London and Paris were still struggling to hit 500,000, Edo had already exploded past 1-2 million people. It was a city built of wood and paper, sitting on a volcanic powder keg, ruled by a military dictator in a massive stone fortress. I used modern AI to reconstruct a day in the life of Edo at its absolute peak, the era of the floating world. We're not looking at the modern neon, we're diving into the narrow alleyways, the communal bathhouses, and the birth of the world's most famous fast food. This is 24 hours in the city of the Shogun. The day begins at 4:00 a.m., not with a sunrise, but with the deep, vibrating boom of the Toki no Kane, the temple bells. In Edo, you didn't have a watch, you lived by the bell. You wake up in a nagaya, a longhouse tenement. Picture this, a tiny wooden room, maybe 9 feet square, where an entire family sleeps on tatami mats. The walls are paper, and the privacy is zero. You can hear your neighbor sneezing, and you can smell the miso soup being started next door. You head out into the rogi, the narrow communal alleyway. This is the social heart of Edo. There's a single shared well and a communal toilet. And here is a piece of meat for the history buffs. In Edo, human waste was a commodity. You didn't pay to get rid of it, merchants paid you for it to use as fertilizer for the rice fields. The city was a perfect circle of recycling. By 7:00 a.m., the city is a hive of motion. You walk down toward Nihonbashi, the bridge of Japan. This is the 0 point of the empire. In the distance, the air is so clean that you can see the snow-capped peak of Mount Fuji towering over the thatched roofs. The bridge is a chaotic bottleneck of porters, monks, and merchants. But the real action is underneath. The canal is a forest of masts. Edo was a water city. Thousands of flat-bottomed boats are unloading white rice from Osaka, soy sauce from Noda, and sake from the south. The smell is an intense mix of cedarwood, salty sea air, and fermented soy. You see the fishmongers running through the streets with wet baskets on their shoulders, shouting their prices. This is the birth of the Edo-me spirit, the fast-paced, loud, and slightly arrogant attitude of the city's residents. By 10:00 a.m., you're in the merchant district of Surugacho. You see a massive indigo curtain noren hanging in front of a shop called Echigoya. This is the ancestor of Mitsukoshi, the world's first modern department store. Before this, you had to haggle for everything. But here, they invented a revolution. Fixed prices paid in cash. Inside, hundreds of clerks are clicking abacuses and unfolding rolls of silk. The wealth here is staggering, but it's a hidden wealth. The shogun has strict sumptuary laws. Lower-class merchants aren't allowed to wear bright colors or silk. So they get creative. You see a merchant in a plain brown cotton robe, but when he walks, you catch a glimpse of the lining. It's brilliant, expensive silk embroidered with dragons. It's a silent middle finger to the ruling class. As midday hits at 1:00 p.m., the hunger sets in, and you experience the birth of a global icon. You stop at a yatie wooden street stall. This is where sushi was born. In 1750, Edo-me, sushi wasn't a fancy sit-down meal, it was fast food for the busy worker. The pieces are huge, twice the size of modern sushi, and the rice is seasoned with a dark, funky red vinegar made from fermented sake dregs. You eat it standing up with your hands, and you dip it in a shared bowl of soy sauce. It's salty, sour, and fresh from the bay. You wash it down with hot green tea and move on. The city doesn't have time for a long lunch, there's money to be made. By 3:00 p.m., you cross into a different world, the high districts. You pass through a massive gate into the Bukyashiki, the samurai estates. The noise of the merchants vanishes. The streets here are wide, silent, and lined with high stone walls and black-tiled roofs. You see a high-ranking samurai and his retinue. He's wearing the kamishimo with exaggerated wing-like shoulders, and he has 2 swords tucked into his belt. This is the elite 10% of the city. They don't work, they are a hereditary warrior class with no wars to fight. They spend their days practicing calligraphy, archery, and tea ceremonies. It's a strange, gilded cage. They have all the status, but the merchants you saw earlier have all the money. As the sun starts to dip at 6:00 p.m., the most terrifying part of Edo life begins. The evening watch. Edo was called the City of Fire. With 1-2 million people living in tinderboxes, a single tipped candle could burn down half the city. You see the fire watchmen climbing the tall wooden towers, looking over the grey sea of roofs. Below them, men walk the streets with wooden clappers hayashigi making a rhythmic clack-clack to remind everyone to put out their cooking fires. If a fire starts, the firefighters don't use water, they use hooks and poles to literally pull down the surrounding houses to create a fire break. To be a firefighter in Edo was to be a rock star. They were the toughest, most tattooed men in the city. By 9:00 p.m., the floating world, or Yukio, truly wakes up. You head toward the Yoshiwara district, or the Kabuki theaters. The gates to the city's pleasure quarters are glowing with thousands of paper lanterns. You hear the sharp, twanging sound of the shamisen drifting out of the tea houses. In the theater, the crowd is going wild for a kabuki actor in white face paint and a massive wig. This is the escape. For a few hours, the rigid class system of the shogun doesn't matter. A merchant can feel like a king, and a samurai can hide his face behind a straw hat to go see a play. It's a world of fashion, poetry, and fleeting beauty. At midnight, you're walking back to your Nagaya. The lanterns are flickering out. The city is finally quiet, but it never truly sleeps. You look up at the massive stone walls of Edo Castle, the largest fortress on earth where the shogun sits in the center of his web. You realize that this city is a miracle of organization. They have managed to feed, clean, and entertain 1 million people without a single engine or a light bulb. You slide your wooden door shut, feeling the chill of the night air, knowing that at 4:00 a.m., the bell is going to boom again, and the most vibrant machine on earth will start its gears once more. That was a day in Edo,